Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to go into chapter 25 of How to Disappear by Sharon Huss Wrote. With that being said, including this chapter, we have 10 chapters left to read and we have made some great progress through this book, so let's continue on with reading to find out what else is going to happen. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. Chapter 25. Inside the bolorama, the noise is at first jarring. They're blasting the kind of pop music that makes your teeth ache, punctured by the electronic beeps and buzzes of a dozen arcade games and the hum of people trying to talk over all of it. And you can barely hear the clatter of bowling pins in the background. It's kind of noise you can get lost in, though, and once I adjust to the volume of it, I like that nobody will hear me if I say something stupid. I can't believe the concert sold out, Lipton says, as we head over to the check-in counter. Adrian must be out of his mind. Marissa, too. That girl in front of us, though, what was she talking about? Something on Instagram, I think. It's a lie of omission, and I feel bad about that, too, but I'm not ready to tell him about Vicarious. I don't know if I ever will be. I rack my brain for another topic, anything to change the subject. Have you ever bowled here before? A few times. I glance at the nearest lane where a guy wearing some kind of heavy-duty wrist supports knocks all the bowling pins down in one shot. He looks professional. If I have to bowl next to him, I'll pass out for sure. Lipton leans down to talk low to my ear. It'll be fun, don't worry. So of course I start worrying, because people never say don't worry if there's absolutely no cause for worry. They also don't say be careful if something is perfectly safe, or stay warm if there isn't a distinct possibility of freezing to death. Lipton smiles and swings my hand as we wait our turn in line. Our shoulders brush together, and it is enough to pull me out of my head, away from all that stuff that is spiraling out of control. I lean into him and he leans into me, and it's okay that we aren't very good at using our words. I reach in my pocket for money when we get to the register, but Lipton insists on paying. Then we're directed to a different counter that is dwarfed by a towering wall of shoe cubbies, which are occupied by the ugliest examples of footwear I have ever seen. Flat-soled shoes with red on one side and blue on the other, white laces and white heels. Lipton notices the crinkle of my nose. Sexy, huh? People wear those, I say. He laughs and asks for size 10. The guy at the counter looks down at us from his elevated perch, grabs a pair of shoes from one of the cubbies and slams them on the counter in front of us without a word. Thanks, says Lipton. He and Shirley Shoe Guy both look at me then. The noise drowning everything else falls away, and I'm suddenly on display. All my anxiety comes rushing back, and I'm convinced that I will say the wrong thing, even if all they want from me is my shoe size. It'll be the wrong shoe size. I'm sure of it. I step backward and chirp, no thank you. Shirley Shoe Guy gives me a weird look, and Lipton leans into my ear. You need shoes. I drop my eyes to my ankle boots my mother loaned me. Not shoes technically, but close enough. I'm fine with these. He smiles nervously, and immediately I know I'm doing something wrong. I can feel myself starting to sweat. They don't let you bowl in street shoes. You have to wear theirs or bring your own. He turns over the pair in his hand to show me the smooth sole. See, you have to be able to slide, plus it keeps the lanes clean. Oh, okay. I glance up at the shoe guy, who is all head shaking and eye rolling. You want to go home, says Lipton. Do something else? No, I'll wear the shoes, but I don't move because I can't, because the shoe guy is judging me. I can only stand there hovering between Lipton, avoiding eye contact with anyone who might look at me funny, which is everyone. Lipton touches my arms. I'll get them for you. What size? 8, I whisper. He returns to the counter and says, size 8, please. Shoe guy scans the size 8 cubbies and grabs the most scuffed pair he can find. The laces are frayed and dirty, and the suede is completely worn off in places. Someone has taken a red Sharpie to the bare spots. Even the ones on the blue side, they're hideous. Lipton stares at the shoes. He lays his hands on the counter. I tug gently on the back of his shirt because a line has formed and everyone is looking at us. I just want to take the shoes and go, but he doesn't pick them up. He says, you have a nicer pair? No, sorry. Shoe guy motions for the next person. Size? The girl behind us glances nervously at Lipton before answering. 8. Lipton slides the grubby pair over to her. This is all they have in size 8, apparently. You want them? She grimaces. No thanks, they're nasty. Shoe guy takes a much nicer pair of size 8s from the cubbies and hands them to the girl. She receives them guiltily and hurries away, which is exactly what I want to do. I probably deserve the scuffed shoes. I don't even know how to bowl, but Lipton is pissed off. He lifts himself taller and gets right in Shoe Guy's face and says, we'd like to trade these for a different pair, please. You'll have to go back to the back of the line, the guy says. Lipton's jaw gets very tight. I've never seen him like this, even when Jeremy was laughing at his Minecraft presentation. Instead of blushing and laughing it off like he usually does, he slides his arms wide so they block the width of the counter. No, actually, we'll wait right here while you reach 2 feet behind you and grab that pair of size 8s right there. He motions to the cubby directly behind the guy and pass them over to me. Then we'll give you back these crummy pair that shouldn't even be in the circulation anymore, okay? Shoe Guy stares Lipton down for a minute, and I just want to disappear before this whole ridiculous situation draws any more attention. The guy finally takes the worn shoes away and replaces them with a new pair. Thank you. Lipton smiles pleasantly, leaning across the counter so he can get even closer to the guy. I'll be sure to mention the excellent service we received next time I see Mr. Pasternark. The oh crap expression on the guy's face is priceless. Lipton gives him an exaggerated thumbs up, and we can turn toward the lanes we've been aside. Everyone is staring. But these are not the what's wrong with her sort of stares I've grown accustomed to. They are more of the who did you see that? Whoa, did you see that variety, still unnerving, but not as bad. When we reach our lane, Lipton sinks into a chair and lets out a slow, whistly breath. I drop in the seat next to him. You okay? He nods, but his hands are shaking. My therapist says I need to stand up for myself. It scares the crap out of me, though. I'm not naturally assertive, you may have noticed. Lipton has a therapist? This fact stops me because of the way he mentioned it so casually, like it's no big deal, when for me, even walking into Miss Green's office feels like the humongous deal. I desperately want to ask him about this, but instead I just say, well, you can tell your therapist you were great. I could never do that. Yes, you could, if you had to, but you didn't have to. He smiles, on one side, dimple tweaked, and let you wear those awful shoes on our first date. I lower my gaze. I wouldn't have minded. Well, I would have. So you stood up for me, not yourself. Lipton pinches his lower lip between his fingers for a minute, then sits up taller. Still counts, he says. I'm counting it. Okay, I smile. Lipton 1, Judgy Shoe Guy 0. Lipton raises a fist in victory. Yes. Who is Mr. Pasternake anyway? The owner, he says. He owns all the bowling alleys around here. You know him? Lipton grins sheepishly. Never met the guy. I laugh too loud. It's a guffaw, really. I slap my hand to my mouth. Lipton laughs too, but at the normal volume. He bends down to unlace his street shoes, and I realize I'm going to have to take mine off too, which is one of the weird things that goes on my list. I'm afraid to remove my shoes in public. What if my feet are smelly? What if there's a hole in my sock? What if I misplace one of my shoes and then have to walk around with only one shoe? Lipton is already lacing up the red and white blue ones. He glances over, sees that I'm not doing the same, sticks out his patriotic feet. Come on, they're not that bad, he says. I laugh nervously, still can't take off my shoes. Is there a ladies' room? He points to where it is, next to the arcade. I'll be right back. I hurry away with the bowling shoes. Sorry about that. We had a package be delivered. Anyways, he points to where it is, next to the arcade. I'll be right back. I hurry away with the bowling shoes in hand before I have to explain my shoe problem. The bathroom is gross. I balance on one foot while changing the shoe on my other, so I don't have to touch my socks to the floor. I should change into a fresh t-shirt, too, except I'm afraid I might drop my sweater on the floor or into the toilet. Also, Lipton is waiting, and if I don't get out there soon, the awkwardness of having spent too long in the bathroom will ensue. I quickly finish and wash my hands, and now it's been almost 10 minutes since I came in here, and he's going to think something's wrong with me. This is pretty much why I should never leave the house. I waste another 2 minutes coming up with 8 different excuses to explain my lengthy absence. When I return to our lane, I don't have to use any of them because Lipton is not there. Add being abandoned in a bowling alley to my list. I sit and wait, walking myself through various scenarios of what I will do if he never returns. Bruce? Oh, never mind. It's my husband.
What's in here?
I thought that was you, Bruce in the kitchen, but it was you. Add being abandoned in a bowling alley to my list. I sit and wait, walking myself through various scenarios of what I will do if he never returns. Most of them end with me never leaving my house again. A minute later, Lipton comes out of the men's bathroom. He gestures to my feet and shouts, "What are those? I want to die." I mean, I know the meme. I've seen the videos on YouTube and witnessed kids at school shouting it at each other 1,000 times. There's a reason I don't wear interesting shoes. Sorry, he says quickly. You actually look really good in those. I'm pretty sure my face now matches the red in the shoes, and I can't think of anything funny or clever to say. A waitress appears carrying a full tray of drinks and food. She rested on the table behind us. I've got 2 milkshakes and a large order of fries for lane 38, she says. That's us, Lipton stands again, but I didn't order. On the house, she nods toward the shoe counter. Shoe Guy waves, all friendly like, "You've got to be kidding me," says Lipton under his breath. He doesn't wave, though, just stares at the guy for a second and then gives the slightest of nods. He must really need that job, I say. Lipton pops a fry into his mouth. You think? I sit across from him at the table, and we take turns dipping fries into the little paper cup of ketchup. Our hands brush every now and then, and it is ridiculous how much of an effect it has on me. Like I've been existing in some kind of suspended animation, my nerve endings grown numb from lack of use. Lipton is jolting them all back to life. A trio of girls walk by on their way to another lane. One of them wiggles her fingers at Lipton. His eyes widen, and he looks over his shoulder to see who she's waving at, but the only thing behind him is the empty bowling lane. He blushes and they giggle. Do I have ketchup on my face? He wipes the back of his hand across his mouth. No, I smile and shake my head. What? He runs a hand through his hair, his super thick flopping adorable over his eyes, and brushes some non-existent dandruff from his shoulders. What is it? Nothing. I can't tell him they think he's cute because that would be almost the same thing as telling him I think he's cute, which I do, but I can't say that. They're just being friendly. Oh, he glances at them and checks his shoes once more, then straightens his shirt. We should get some balls now, he says, then quickly adds, bowling balls. He takes me to the rack behind our lane, where an assortment of colorful balls is available, and helps me choose one, 11 pounds, bright pink. I have no idea how to hold it, and I put the wrong fingers into the holes. No, like this. He shows me how to position my hand. For a minute, I forget how open the bowling alley is, how on display we are. It's like a little cone of privacy has fallen around us, just Lipton and me and my bright pink bowling ball. Then you lift like this, he says, twisting my wrist around so the ball rests in my palm. His face is very close to mine, his voice low, and use your other hand to steady it until you're ready to swing it back. Got it? I think so. But that doesn't mean I want him to step out of our protective cone. He lets his hands linger on mine for a few seconds longer than necessary. We really don't have to do this if you're not into it, he says. We could play arcade games or just sit here and talk and watch the other bowlers. No, I say, let's bowl. I want to bowl. I mean, how hard can it be? Lipton smiles. He wants to bowl too, and from the way he expertly selects his own ball and carries it, I'm guessing he's pretty good. Just don't laugh, I say. I promise. He sits at the controls for our lane. You want to be Vicky, or my eyes widen. Do you want to go use a different name? He starts typing, and the name Gregor appears on the scoreboard above. I wait for him to add the Y, but he doesn't. Call me Vic, then I say. Lipton types in Gregor and Vic, and we bowl. Or rather, Lipton bowls, and I attempt to roll the ball in the general direction of the pins, though it invariably ends up in the gutter. Luckily, nobody is playing in two lanes on either side of us, so I can almost pretend nobody sees me. Almost. After 5 turns, my score is a whopping 13. Lipton's is 58, and I'm pretty sure he's purposely trying to miss. He keeps giving me tips. Follow through, he says, showing how my hand should end up pointing in the direction I'm aiming. Okay, I got this, I say, with a confidence I usually reserve for Vicarious. I approach, lift the ball, swing my arms, slide, and forget to let go. The ball arcs high and comes down with a loud thunk in the next lane. It doesn't roll all the way to the pins, it stops. Lipton buries his head behind the scoring console. He's trying to not laugh, or maybe pretending he doesn't know me. His shoulders are shaking, and people in other lanes all the way down the alley are looking and pointing. I scurry to the seat behind him and hug my knees to my face. You said you wouldn't laugh, I mumble. He comes back to sit next to me. I'm not laughing at you. I snap my head up. Don't even say it. Just kidding. It's okay, he bites his lip. People do that all the time. Seriously? Uh-huh. He nods and shakes his head. Actually, no, I have never seen that in my life. Do you know how much oil they put on those lanes? They're super slippery. I didn't even think you could stop a ball like that, even if you tried. I bury my face again, not helping Lipton. Sorry, he says, his hand on my back just below my neck, and rubs small circles. He has now touched me in 4 different places. You want me to get you a new ball, he says. How about I just watch you? That sounds like the worst date ever. I bowl, you watch? No. I sit up straight. I'm serious. I want to watch you bowl. I bet you're really good at this. Show me your best stuff. He scrunches up his face. Really? I nod. Really. He sighs. This is weird. And when has that ever stopped you before? Ouch. I laugh. I mean, that is the best possible way. Okay, but you have to sit up here at the console and talk to me. I move to the console and try to look official. Lipton picks up his ball and rolls a strike, then another strike, some spares and another 3 strikes. He's playing my turns too, so my score is looking much better. Wow, I say, I might catch up to you. Then he purposely gutter balls on his own turn so that I do. Not fair, I say. He beams at me. Only 2 more rows of frames, or whatever they're called, left to play. It's his turn again, or time to play his turn, not mine. You're not going to let me win, are you? I tease. Lipton narrows his eyes at me and stands there longer than usual, then slowly begins his approach and sends a curved ball down the lane. I'm not really paying attention to the ball, though, or how many pins he knocks down, because those new jeans he's wearing are a little distracting. Strike, he says, grinning. Your turn. I blink up at him. You mean You're my turn. No, you're your turn. I shake my head. Come on, he says. I'll even put the bumpers up. Bumpers? He points to the lane where the 3 girls are playing. I hadn't noticed before, but they're padded rail on each side. One girl stands at the foul line, holds the ball in both hands, swings it low between her knees, and lets it roll. It ricochets off the bumpers all the way down and ultimately takes out 2 pins. She squeals. See, he says. I do. I see a girl who possesses the kind of joyful abandon I've been seeking, but I'm too scared to embrace, even attempt in my own skin. I need a disguise, an alias, to enjoy that kind of freedom. She goes again, this time standing backward. She bends over and pushes it through her legs, then watches it go, like with her butt sticking up in the air. She doesn't care how she looks or who may be watching her. The ball hits the bumper once and slowly moves to the center, knocking down the remaining pins. Her friends hoot and she celebrates with a little touchdown dance. When I turn back to Lipton, I realize I'm standing. My body is braver than my brain, apparently. He hands me a ball, not my ball, which is still sitting in the middle of the empty lane next to us, but an identical pink ball. I didn't even see him get it. He walks right up to the foul line and kicks a lever on each side of the lane, and the bumpers pop up. I hold the ball in both arms and shuffle to where he stands. Just let her roll, he says, any way you can. I swallow a nod, glance around. Nobody is watching, but I still can't bring myself to stick my butt up in the air and roll it between my legs. I slip my 2 middle fingers into the holes and grip the ball the way Lipton taught me. You got it, he says, backing away, which is probably a good idea considering my last attempt. I wait until he's well out of range. Step my left foot forward, swing my ball, arm, and release. It rolls mostly straight, grazes the left bumper, veers back to the center, and oh my god, I knock them all down. Lipton hoots. I turn around, hands pressed to my mouth, which is open wide in a silent shriek, my shoulders pulled up to my ears. You did it! He rushed toward me, wraps his arms around my waist, and spins me around. I cling to his neck until we come to a stop, and I feel the floor beneath my feet again. But he doesn't let go. It's full body contact, arms around each other, chest and hips, thighs pressed together. Too many points of contact to count. I'm pretty sure Lipton is as surprised as I am to find himself holding me like this. Our noses were mere inches apart. His whole face is open, eyes and mouth wide and smiling, still laughing. You did it, he says softly now. I might kneel over if he lets me go, but not from embarrassment or humiliation or fear. No, this is something else entirely. I did it, I whisper all breathly, and before I can even consider the possibility, Lipton kisses me. His warm lips are on mine, at first with a loud smack and celebratory kiss that stuns me, and him too. I think, like he didn't really plan to do that, but still he doesn't let go. That was I. His gaze drifts down to my mouth, then back up to my eyes. His grip around me softens, his hand sliding to my hips. I rest my fingers on his shoulders, and we kiss, in front of the whole bowling alley, and I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm scared of everyone who could be watching, but I really don't want to stop. I could have died happy with the hand-holding alone, but the kissing, this is something worth living for. Lipton's lips release mine and break into a shy smile, which I return. Then he's grinning. His lips are truly exceptional. Kissing, smiling, grinning, smirking, you name it. Lipton's lips excel at everything. They should have their own Instagram. Should we, he looks around us, finish our game? I couldn't care less about finishing the game, but people are watching, and now that the kissing has stopped, I feel like I might start hyperventilating a little. We walk back to the console, and he points up at my score. Look, you're winning. I steady my eyes on the display, not really caring what it says, but needing something other than Lipton's lips to focus on. I'm breathless and happy. If I am winning, it's not against Lipton. Tonight, for the first time in my life, I am winning against the fear of taking up space and getting in the way, of being wrong or stupid or pathetic or not good enough, of being laughed at. Finally, I am winning against myself. That is the end of this chapter. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!